Hey, what's good, y'all? This is Ryan Jackson from Ryan Jackson LLC. Hope y'all have had a great and wonderful day. This is a day that the Lord has made, and we will rejoice and be glad in it. If your day has not been going well or whatso have you, just always remember this. Tough times don't last, but tough people do. Keep your faith and trust in Allah, God, and He will see you through. And I could bear witness to that because He is seeing me through as well. Get into the topic for this video, and I'm going to age myself here. Those of us who came of age in the 1980s know about the TV show Dallas. Dallas was about a family called named the Ewings. They led that South Fork Ranch. It was in a town called Braddock, Texas, outside of Dallas, way outside Dallas. But the son was played by J.R. Ewing, which is played by the late great Larry Hagman, who before Dallas, back in the 1960s, played Major Tony Nelson on I Dream of Jeannie. Late great Larry Hagman, he passed away in 2012 at the age of 81. I think he had leukemia or cancer. Yeah, it was cancer. So he's no longer with us. His youngest brother was played by Patrick Duffy, who's still with us. He was on a show called The Man from Atlantis, which had maybe 10 episodes. It came on from 1977 into 1978. I think they did, like I said, 10 episodes. So it didn't last a full season. And they pulled it because the ratings were poor. And he tried out for the Bobby Ewing part. And he said he didn't think he was going to get it. And he was worried that he wasn't going to find work. And lo and behold, he got canceled. So he was, that ended up working out great for him. And he did well playing the Bobby Ewing character for 14 seasons. Well, actually for 13, because the 85-86 season, they killed Bobby off, but that was like the dream season. I think it was some like contractual disputes maybe, but he wasn't there the 85-86 season. So 13 seasons he was on Dallas. And we also know when Dallas ended his run, he was on the show with Suzanne Summers, the show called Step by Step. It was the 90s version of the Brady Bunch. He played Frank Lambert, the patriarch of the family. He was a contractor. Great show. Step by Step was very funny. Again, it was the 1990s version of the Brady Bunch. Suzanne Summers played his wife, and coincidentally enough, the guy Cody Lambert played his nephew, but he also played his nephew on Dallas the last two seasons. James Beaumont, played by Sasha Mitchell. Sasha Mitchell was in the kickboxing movies. Great talent, great talent. But yeah, Step by Step came on the same day as it was part of the TGIF Friday lineup on ABC with Family Matters, Perfect Strangers, what's the show? Full House, and I believe Hanging with Mr. Cooper. So it was part of the Friday lineup, TGIF Friday lineup, Step by Step. Steve Urkel was on there, I think, a few episodes. Real funny show. You had Sue Ellen, who played the poor woman, the mentally traumatized wife of JR, by Linda Gray, who's still with us. She's in her 80s. When she left Dallas, she did a show called Models Inc. Models Inc. was on Fox. I think they had like maybe 2 or 3 seasons, but she was the main character on that show. Sue Ellen, she played that for 12 seasons. Yeah, 12 seasons. Great role she played. She played that part great. And then you had Jock Ewing, played by the late Jim Davis, who passed in 81. I believe he was a Western actor. He used to do Westerns. He played Jock Ewing, the patriarch of the family, the founder and owner of Ewing Oil, who JR acquired to be like his dad, because JR, Bobby was Jock's favorite son. Miss Ellie's favorite son, played by the late Barbara Bell Geddes, who passed on. Her favorite son was Gary Ewing, played by Ted Shackelford, who was on Knots Landing. Gary Ewing, he just loved being on South Fork. He loved ranching. He had no desire to go into Ewing Oil. JR did. JR did. Bobby did too, but Bobby kind of was like, he liked ranching. He liked being in the oil business, but not as much as JR did. JR's whole MO was the oil business, the oil, 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 oil. It's all JR was concerned about. Steve Canale played Ray Krabs, who was the stepbrother of JR, Bobby, and Gary. Jock had an affair with a woman, with Ray Krabs' mother. She gave birth to Ray, and that was their half brother. He wasn't Miss Ellie's son, he was Jock's son. So, and JR used to rip on him about that all the time. Ray Krabs. And you had other characters. You had Lucy Ewing, played by Charlene Tilton. You had Ray's wife, played by, what's her name? Susan Howard. I think that's her name. Yeah, played his wife, Donna Krabs. But what was her? I forgot her maiden name. She was married to a senator. So, but great show. And then JR's arch enemy throughout the whole series was Cliff Barnes, played by the late great Ken Kercheval. JR and Cliff Barnes hated each other, and I loved it. Your mom loved Dallas? Yeah, my mom loved it too. My grandmother loved it, and she got my parents into watching it, which got me into watching it. I was watching Dallas when I was 7, 8 years old. Didn't understand what was going on, but I know I liked JR. And my grandma used to call him, "Oh, dirty JR. That old dirty JR." That's what my grandma used to call him. Rest in peace, Grandma. But Dallas came on Friday nights at 9 o'clock on Friday nights, right before Falcon Crest, which was another great show. But Black people could learn a lot from the show Dallas, because the whole thing about the Ewings was generational wealth. Generational wealth. They had a lot of the land. South Fork sat on a lot of acres. That ranch was huge. Y'all remember when Dallas used to come on? They used to show the house, and they used to show the ranch, and the land went for miles. Well, that's what South Fork was. The land went for miles. They had cattle. Later, they found out that there was oil on South Fork. South Fork was it was a river on South Fork. That land was huge. Huge ranch. Huge. But Miss Ellie wanted to pass it down to her grandkids. Bobby wanted to pass it on to his son. JR wanted to pass it on to John Ross, as well as Ewing Oil. Generational wealth. That was what Dallas was promoting. Generational wealth, especially Ewing Oil. JR, no matter what it took, who he had to screw over, even if it was his own brother or anyone, Cliff Barnes, Carter McKay, whomever it was, Pam, Mark Grayson, her boyfriend, whomever he had to screw over to be at the top of Ewing Oil and to pass it on to his son, John Ross. That's what JR wanted to do. Pass on wealth. Like I say, now Black people, don't do what JR did. Don't screw nobody over. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. That was part of the show. That was part of JR's character. What I'm saying is the whole premise behind it. Generational wealth. Whether it was Ewing Oil or South Fork Ranch, they wanted to promote wealth within the family, passing it down to generations. Jock passed it down to his sons. His sons passed it down to their sons. Their sons passed it down to their sons. It was about wealth, keeping wealth in the family, the Ewing family, keeping that wealth. We could learn a lesson from that, Black people. That's what I'm saying. We also could learn this from Dallas. The Ewings stuck together. They fought among each other. Bobby used to beat up JR. Bobby was the youngest brother, JR was the oldest, but Bobby was strong. I mean, hell, the man was wrestling cattle. He was a rancher. The man played college football. Bobby had muscles. Bobby worked out. JR didn't work out. JR was too busy sleeping with women, cheating on Sue Ellen, doing screwing people over. JR's battles were in the boardroom and in the bedroom too. But that was what was great about the J.R. Ewing character. But like I said, they fought among each other. JR and Bobby used to fight. But one thing, when someone was trying to screw over Bobby or someone was trying to screw over JR, that's when they came together and they fought against that person or people. They did not tolerate anyone coming against a Ewing. Bobby did not tolerate anyone um, effing with JR. JR did not tolerate anyone effing with Bobby. Miss Ellie didn't tolerate anyone messing with her children. She was the mama bear. She's a tough old lady. A mama bear. You didn't mess with her sons or her grandkids or Ewing. You didn't do it. Or their wives. Yeah, or I think I said, or her grandchildren. She didn't play it. And JR didn't play it. But they stayed on code. That's the point I'm making. The Ewings stayed on code. Like I said, they would fight among each other, but when it was an outside source coming against them, they put their differences aside and they joined together to fight against the enemy, their common enemy, whether it was Cliff Barnes, Carter McKay, whomever it was. They would fight against them. They sure would. Black people, we can learn that. We need to learn that, especially now. Generational wealth and staying on code are the two lessons that we can learn from Dallas. Again, generational wealth and staying on code are two things we can learn from the TV show Dallas. Everything else was entertainment. Great show. Great show. It was on from 1978 to 1991. 14 seasons. Excellent show. I just got finished watching it last Friday night. I had started watching it in late 2020 during the pandemic, and I watched seasons 1 through 6. I stopped watching it for 2 years, and I started back this spring after Snowfall ended in April. I started back watching Dallas season 6. Well, halfway through season 6, where I left off at 2 years ago, to season 14, and I just finished Friday night. So the halfway point in season 6 to the end of the show, I just finished watching this past Friday night. It took me 5 months. 5 months. And I was watching like 3 episodes, maybe sometime 4 episodes, whatever. But I finally finished. And I loved that show. Loved it. Excellent show. Excellent, excellent show. One of the greatest shows on TV. Some say it's the greatest show ever in TV history. I say it's number 2 behind The Wire. The Wire is the greatest show in TV history, in my opinion. Then Dallas, then The Sopranos. But those 3 shows are the greatest 3 shows in TV history. But in any event, again, generational wealth, staying on code. Those are the 2 lessons we can learn from Dallas. I just want to drop that and say that. Again, late great Larry Hagman passed away 11 years ago. Rest in power, rest in peace. Barbara Bel Geddes, Jim Davis, Ken Kercheval, George Kennedy, who played Carter McKay, who came on Dallas later. And but yeah, rest in peace to those actors who played a part in Dallas who are no longer with us now. The Wire, I love The Wire. I don't rewatch The Wire maybe 5 times since it ended. I can remember different parts, different lines. You come for the king, you bet not miss. The late great Omar Williams. I'm sorry, Omar Little. Omar Little, played by the late great Michael K. Williams. the Barksdale organization, later acquired by Marlo Stanfield, Prop Joe. I love The Wire. I love The Wire. I could do this video for another hour just talking about The Wire. I love that show, the greatest show ever in TV history. And I guess no one talks shit about The Wire. White people even love The Wire. That's how great The Wire is. White people even talk about The Wire. I love The Wire, Omar and Marlo, and they love The Wire. So, but it was our show and we loved it. So I love The Wire. Great show. But again, lastly, I'm gonna repeat myself again. Two things we can learn from Dallas: generational wealth, stand on code. Let's keep those things in mind. And if for those who haven't watched Dallas, go on Amazon Prime. It's on Amazon Prime and watch the show Dallas. Watch the show Dallas. Watch it. I recommend you watch the show Dallas. All 14 seasons. It's going to take a while, but it's worth it. It is worth it. Please watch Dallas and you will see what I'm talking about. Lastly, oh, yeah, the Baltimore lingo. What it do? What it do? The way they drag out the word do. Always, that always fascinated me about The Wire. The way they drag out the word do. Two, what it do? Baltimore, what it do? But I love that show. I could talk about The Wire. That's another video. I have to do another video on The Wire. In any event, I'm gonna hop off of here. Y'all have a great and wonderful day. Y'all take care. Be safe out there. And again, hit that thumbs up button. Hit that thumbs up button. Hit that subscribe button so you get notifications when the videos on here. And just take care of each other, of yourselves and each other. All right, y'all. Assalamu alaikum. Peace be unto you. I love y'all, and I'm out. Peace.